Hello. Thank you so much for including me on this discussion of fear and anxiety, how it manifests in our society, and two, how we might most effectively address it. So the question of whether I believe that anxiety has increased today in our society, I would answer absolutely yes, primarily because of our access to electronics and instant information overload. So most of us, whether we be on our cell phones or we're checking our several emails or online, we can be bombarded from a message from home, of which we can do absolutely nothing at that time. It's going to take us a while to get home. We may be bombarded, regardless of your political affiliation, of something happening at a governmental level that's going to make us frustrated, angry, or fearful. Again, we're powerless to do anything about it immediately. We may be exposed to some graphic images happening worldwide. So not only bombarded, feeling powerless at an instantaneous level, that we are not taking time to address what's happening in our body or our minds or our emotions. So let's look at what does happen. First of all, there's a lot happening with our minds when we get really anxious. We're going to see immediately when we get bombarded with uncomfortable information. Information will flow from our rich cognitive functioning, our smarts, back to the amygdala, so that almond-shaped part of our brain that stores intense emotion. We start to dumb down. We also will see less activity in Broca, our speech center. We don't speak clearly. So imagine two people coming together in society that aren't speaking clearly and aren't thinking clearly. It's usually not positive interaction. We also start to see changes hormonally, that we also start to store fat differently. We also will start to see changes in our gastrointestinal system. So we might feel nauseous more, which serves us in the wild when the predator is coming towards us, get rid of what's in our upper intestines so I can either flight a little more quickly or fight a little bit better because I'm not weighed down by that. If we start to get anxious on a chronic basis, then we also have the possibility to start to see permanent changes, physiological, gastrointestinal, mentally, emotionally. And our stress center starts to have a little kind of short in the system. We'll get triggered by a more minor event more quickly. So how do we address it? First of all, we want to take a look at knowing where we are on what I call a distress scale. What does it feel like to be on a 1? What does it feel like to be on a 10? We also want to people operate on a 6 and don't even notice it. We also want to make sure we have our non-negotiables in our life that bring that level down. Whatever they might be for us. Is it a walk through the woods or a quiet nature? Is it some yoga? Is it working out vigorously? Is it just mindful reading a book? Being with supportive friends, being able to laugh a little bit, certainly taking ourselves away from that electronics. We also want to think about what are the stories we're writing up. Are we writing catastrophic stories, how things aren't going to work out? Usually we handle them better at the time than we think we will. We can't imagine we will. And are we writing positive stories that things might work out beautifully? So at that point, think about your self-care. Think about the stories you're writing. Think about how to introduce more activities that will bring the stress level down. Pleasure being with you today. Bye-bye.